I'ma fuck up my life. I'ma fuck up my life. We gon' party all night.
What's up, guys? So we have another video, and this video's not like my others. They're usually montages. This one's actually a top 5 list, and we have top 5 RPG games on Roblox, as you see from the title. This is objective, and if you have maybe a different opinion, you can put down in the comments, and I'll heart your comment and respond to it if I agree. But to get on this list, it has to be a game where you can gain XP and levels. It has to be PvE oriented, not PvP. And you have to be able to have some type of skills or skill points. The first game on this list here is Dungeon Quest. Dungeon Quest is it's a classic, really. It's one of the first dungeon games on Roblox, or the first, and it started the entire trend of these dungeon games. The gameplay loop is quite simple with this one. You press play, you go into a dungeon, you kill enemies, mini-bosses, and then eventually the final boss, and you get loot. And you just repeat this over and over again. This one's different from the others, where you actually don't gain skills through leveling up, but you gain the skills through beating dungeons, and you get them as rewards, which is quite different. There are a lot of armor, and a lot of skills, and a lot of weapons that you can collect throughout these dungeons, and there's a lot of variety in what you can do. There's 3 main classes: a tank, which is a lot of HP, no damage; healer, which is, it's basically mage, which mage is damage more ranged, we have less HP and you use magic. And melee, which you use swords and you get other melee-based skills with a higher HP than a mage, but you have to get closer to the enemy, so you have more risk. There's other fan-made classes, community-made classes. Like I said, healer, which you just build mage where you got healing spells, or paladin, which is like a tank, but you have a piece of mage armor on as well, so you can also heal yourself while tanking, to get 2 birds of 1 stone. Overall, this game would be higher on the list, but it's only on this list mostly because it's a classic. There's not much to do, especially after you reach like level 60 or 80. After you reach those levels, you've pretty much played the entire game, and to get any higher levels, you spend hours and hours and hours leveling up. Getting max level is more like a pipe dream at this point, because you'll probably never be able to catch up unless you have an intense amount of dedication. But overall, this is a pretty great game, and it could be better, but it's just so old now that it's hard to get into the game if you're a new player. Besides that, it's a pretty good game for the number 5 spot. Next up on this list, we have Shindo Life. Shindo Life is it has a very simple grinding, just like Dungeon Quest, but this one isn't dungeon based. This one, you talk to NPCs around the town and you'll get different quests, like either kill enemies, find a cat, deliver groceries. And when you get those quests, you go to the objective marker and do exactly that. While other games you level up to get skills, or maybe go to a dungeon to get skills, this one you gamble to get skills. Most of the gameplay in this one, which is the reason why it's so down low on this list, is gambling, and it definitely makes you want to cheat to gamble, because it's really just frustrating to not get what you want. So all of your abilities, your elements, and your bloodline are all randomly selected. You can get more rolls to get better ones if you are lucky enough. But you're going to have to gamble to get what you want in this game, which makes it pretty frustrating. But there is a lot of different stuff that you can get, and it is pretty nice to see all the different abilities, and the elements are cool. Like yin and yang are very fun to use. But there's more to this game than just gambling, thankfully, or else it wouldn't be on this list, or it wouldn't be on number 4, probably 5. But there's also different modes and transformations. There's your stats that you get from leveling up, there's different tools that you can get around the world, your elements that you gamble for, your bloodlines that you have to gamble for, your sub abilities that you can buy or earn, companions that you get for killing strong enemies, and then you can put those enemies onto your side. Ninja tools, like I said, can be found around the map in scrolls. Elements are also gambled for, so are bloodlines, and some of them are pretty cool. Martial arts can be bought or also found, and modes are found around the map or for killing powerful tailed beasts, and then you can use their abilities on your side. But overall, this game is very good. It's just the gambling really makes it hard to keep playing it for long periods of time. there is a lot of different abilities and modes and transformations which make the game fun to play after you earn them, but before that there really isn't much to do besides get your level and prestige to gain more and more skill points. Next up on this list we have World Zero. Now World Zero really, as when it came out, brought the RPG into a new level. I've been playing this game since the alpha, and it really has been a ride. The game is fun, there's a lot to do in it, and that's why but there is its downsides, and there's a reason why it's in the number 3 slot, not higher up on the list. There is a lot to do in this game. There's a lot of levels. It's not as bad as Dungeon Quest, but it has the same gameplay loop until the end game, which is where you can do towers, which are more of a big group activity where you go through floors of a tower to gain different loot. This game has a lot of classes, and I showed off 2 of them here, which are Dragoon and Demon. 2 are the end game classes that have like 2 different playstyles. Dragoon's more of a speed-based combo class, while Demon is a AoE or single target life-stealing class that is about staying on the battlefield for as long as possible. This game is good, and it has been good for a while now. It has a lot of stuff to do, battle passes for the occasions, and a lot of dungeons. They recently made it so you can redo old dungeons at higher levels so you can get that loot at a higher level and change up your gameplay later on. There's a lot of cosmetics to buy, but there, like I said before, there is downsides to this game, and the main one is it can be pay to win at times, which is really disappointing. If you go to the shop and there's boosters, which are XP boosters, which would be fine, but there is a booster that you can spend like $20 in real money to instantly skip 60 levels and get to the end game, which is really just unfair for some of the later players, and it's really disappointing that they would do this overall great game on Roblox here. But it does have great gameplay, great looking abilities, and a lot of equipment to gather for each class, and they even made it so the end game classes, if you buy them, they get them early instead of grinding for them. You can go back to the earliest stages in the game and still get weapons, so you can play any class from start to finish if you buy them early, which is really just incredible that they went back and put in that effort. The game has very, very good graphics for a Roblox game. It doesn't even look like Roblox at times, but it still is a Roblox game, surprisingly. It still runs well on even bad computers at sometimes too, which is just incredible that they have such an optimized game. There's a lot of pets to gather, and these pets can give you different abilities that help you in dungeons too, which really just makes the gameplay inclusive. And mounts used to be pay to win. They still, paid mounts move faster, which is also disappointing, but you can still get a mount for free, which allows you to move like double speed and get through towers much easier. Overall, this game is very great, and that's why it has the number 3 spot here, but I am very disappointed that it became pay to win now, and it's just sad I had to come to this. Next here, we actually have a very new game here on Roblox, Area of Athia. This game came out like two-ish days ago. You might think, well, why could it be over all these old games that are more fun and older and have more content? Well, I have to say, this game has a big variety of content. There is a bit of gambling in it, which is a bit annoying, but it's not as gameplay breaking. You have stats like physical strength, magic amount, snap control, and cleverness, which all impact your gameplay, which I can make a guide on this game if people are confused, and I probably will. You can reroll your stats, your race, your snap, which your snap is like your magic. This game is based off of Black Clover and Sword Online, which has a good variety of gameplay. You get different snaps, which are like your grimoires or books, and those give you different types of magic, and your cleverness actually affects how early you can get these skills. Using these skills in your book or a weapon that you can summon in your hands, using magic of course, you can kill enemies and gain levels, but gaining levels is mostly done through questing. You can't really gain stats through leveling, but you gain different abilities, which is why I included it on this. It is PvE Focus. I'm pretty sure they didn't add a PvP mode to this game. The reason it's not number one on this list is one, it's new, and that's mostly the main reason. It's not the most secure game. It's very buggy at times, and you can glitch around, or you might not be able to sprint, or enemies will hit you when you're nowhere near them, and it's laggy. It's not very well optimized for worse computers. But besides that, it is a great game with a lot to do and levels to earn. So far, it seems I have not gotten that far into it like most people here. There are codes coming out for the game that will give you free spins so you can earn new races, which races also give you individual abilities. And there's 3 quests in the starter town, which will eventually lead you to a labyrinth where you fight a boss, which you need a lot of people to fight. There is a good amount of stuff to do. The combat is quite smooth, but like I said, I can't really say it's smooth. The blocking is buggy, and sometimes you'll try to block and it won't work, and you can't block, or you'll attack and it won't work. It's definitely experimental, and the snaps don't feel smooth. They feel a bit jittery, and they don't work all the time, which is a bit disappointing, but I'm giving it some slack because it just came out, and I feel like it can definitely be a very good game later on with how much variety there is in the game. The game has beautiful scenery, some very great graphics. The glare is a bit too bright, but besides that, it does look very nice overall. The models are a bit janky, and I think that just gives it a nice stylistic approach to the game. It looks as like a unique art style, and I find it funny that the enemies can attack each other. But it is a very nice game. It looks great, some of the best graphics on Roblox, and that's why I put it this high on the list. Next up, we have Grand Piece. This game is paid, which is what lures a lot of people away from it, but I actually have a lot of fun playing this game, and I think it is the best RPG for me at this time, and might be for a lot of you on here too. This game is based off the anime One Piece, so it's about sailing the ocean and being a pirate, finding different abilities, and fighting styles. If you don't want to pay for a game, you can always go for Blocks Fruits, which I think is the second best here. It's definitely an alternative to this game, if you don't like it. This game is very hard compared to Blocks Fruits. As you can see, I'm going to die here, because it's just very hard to fight enemies and actually get out alive. Besides that, it is a great game. I am going to make a video on all One Piece games on Roblox, because I feel like they can all be interchangeable depending on what type of game you like. If you're more into PvE, PvP, or into more of a grindy or slow grind or a short grind. There's just a lot of variety in One Piece games on Roblox. There's skills, inventory systems. This game has a very, very big sea, and it has a lot of optimization. They have 2 different fast modes, so maybe you can get your way out without having to, have to use a very powerful PC to play the game. But it does have some running problems. It's very internet laggy, so even if you have a good computer, sometimes the game will just be laggy anyways, on FPS wise, but it'll just lag. But it is definitely the best RPG here on the list. There's different fighting styles you can get. There's fruits that give you individual abilities, and fruits are very rare, which gives them a very unique property. But you can go without them. You can use different fighting styles. Like I have the black leg here, which is a kick fighting oriented fighting style. There's different enemies to fight. There's a bunch of bosses and loot to get. And there's a bunch of ships. You can make clans with your friends. And because the ocean's so big, you might want to get some navigating items to help you around. But besides that, this is definitely the #1 game here on the list, and I will be talking about One Piece games later on a different video. But besides that, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. I've put a pretty decent amount of effort into this video, and I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't agree with my list, you can go down in the comments and say whatever you like. I might heart your comment and respond to it. I probably will. And I can you might not agree with my list, and that's alright. This is just what I like. I will be making a video about One Piece games sooner or later. Besides that, thanks for watching.